Okay, hello there, I'm Dennis. Welcome to my channel, Life, Home, and My Linux Journeys. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about Fedora Linux 39 that just came out. If we open up their homepage, first of all, you'll notice here in the bookmark menu, you'll have all sorts of, when you open up Firefox, you'll have all sorts of options to, this is actually the Get Fedora homepage. And this would be the new release notes. So I'll make sure both of those links get in here. And they did just come out with a release, Fedora Linux 39. I'm going to exit out of here, but I'll put, like I said, the description or the links will be in the description. Let me bring up a terminal. Let's just run a neo fetch. Fedora Linux 39, the Workstation edition. This is Gnome desktop on the Dell Precision T3500. It's only a BIOS boot only. I actually was able to record the installation, and we'll go through that. I actually videoed it with using Voco Screen. Voco Screen will not recognize my microphone, so I had to use Voco Screen for the video, and I had to use Audacity for the audio. Now, all of this was because they default to Wayland, and I've got nothing against Wayland except for this. It seems that Wayland is not ready for creation for me. It might be for you, I don't know. So anyway, I just took a screenshot of the picture there, that what I was having to do to record the video. And this will be your first, when you click on install it, Fedora Workstation, this will be your first option here. What language would you like to use during the installation process? For me, it's correctly selected English, United States. Okay, so right here it says, please complete these items marked with this icon before continuing to the next step. And the keyboard is fine, time and date was fine, but right here, it had to know where to install it, the hard drive. So this is the check here means it was already selected by default. This is it, SDA. Although you'll see that it only shows 231 megs free. So this disk had been formatted and another operating system installed on it, and I'm just going to wipe that out and create my own. And I selected custom partitioning. All right, so when I got through and I clicked next, I got this error saying error checking storage configuration, click for details. And now this is a BIOS boot only, and I'm actually installing on a hard drive, a spinning hard drive. So this is the first time I've seen this, unless it was concerning a SSD in a legacy boot. It says your BIOS-based system needs a special partition to boot from a GPT disk label. To continue, please create a 1 megabyte BIOS boot type partition on the SDA disk. So I went back and erased everything I had done and did it again. I gave them actually 16 megs here, but you'll see it only allocated I can't see it. It only allocated 2 megabytes. There it is right there, 2 megabytes. So this is how I had to lay it out. I had a BIOS boot was SDA1, which the BIOS won't even see it at this point, or the system won't see it. Then I had swap space, 8 gigabytes of swap, and then I allocated the remainder of it to the root drive. And I chose standard partitioning with ext4. All right, and this was a summary of the changes that it was going to make. Create and format GPT, etc. I accepted the changes, and after I accepted the changes and came back here, this was blue screen, so it was ready. So I began the installation, and I thought maybe we'd see a clock on it, but we don't. But anyway, so that was the last step. It installed successfully. Let me close this out. So when using Wayland, I knew that Voco Screen would not work properly. It didn't. What else was there? something else that would not work properly. It was not Audacity. That's nothing to do with Wayland. But there was another one that wouldn't work. And then I installed OBS Studio, and I installed it natively or through their repos and opened it up, but it would not record anything but audio. And when you'd run the test, it would say it could not start FFmpeg. Well, you know good and well FFmpeg was there. It just wasn't starting for OBS Studio. So I logged out and signed back in with Xorg. And then I had uninstalled OBS Studio, rebooted, and signed in using Xorg session and installed OBS Studio, and it's working just fine, just like you would expect it to normally. So I'm just saying that for me, and for OBS Studio in particular, Voco Screen, those things don't work with Wayland. And I'm not sure why you would default to a display server that does not accept every software that you provide. If I have a company and I'm providing you with a certain amount of software and you had a problem, it seems to me like I would revert back to something where you did not have a problem and then make it an option whether I wanted to opt into Wayland or not. And they do that, but they don't tell you none of that. So anyway, let's look more at what we got here. So I run in at NeoFetch. If we run Inchy, stretch that out a little bigger there. You can see this is Fedora Linux 39, release 39. It's on the Dell Workstation T3500. Under graphics, I'm using X11 with X Wayland, and that works fine. Wayland's not even an option in the XFCE spin. When you install Fedora with the XFCE spin, you do not even get that option. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to use Wayland in XFCE, but not native or by default anyway. All right, and then we're using Pipewire. All right, what else can we look at here? I have installed some programs, OBS Studio, Kdenlive, Audacity. Flatpak comes installed and enabled by default. So if you know a Flatpak, you can just go right ahead and install it. You don't have to enable the repo or anything like that. Celluloid I installed. It does come with Fedora Media Writer. I think that's actually a great piece of software to include in your choices of software to install. It comes with the system monitor. And I did install, let's see, I installed CPUX. There we go. I didn't think it was going to open for a second there. And I also installed, we go back to the utilities, hard info. Let's see what it says. Operating system Fedora, 1 processor, 6 cores, 12 threads, 24 gigs of RAM. We're using the AMD Intel video card. Under summary, we got same information, operating system. Not sure what else would be important right there. So once again, I find myself looking at Fedora and saying, well, how come I don't run Fedora personally? But I do. Over in my main workstation, I have an HP computer, and it runs Fedora with the XFCE spin, and I have for over a year now on that very machine. And so far, they have made some changes, and I'm going to go over those in another video because, in my personal opinion, it's the wrong direction. But my personal opinion probably doesn't reflect the entire world. It reflects how I feel about it. And so I'll get into that later. But for now, let's go back here to my applications. And you can see I got simple screen recorder. If I open up Voco Screen now, all the codecs are there and it works. I got VirtualBox, it's there and it works. I got Vert Manager, it's there and it works. See if it'll connect. It connected. It's ready to put in a new ISO. or operating system. This is VirtualBox. And I believe it's like the latest one, if not the latest, close to the latest. 7.0. One thing I will say too, now I'm not new to this T3500. If you've watched my videos in the past and you've stayed up with the channel, you know that I now have 3 Dell Precision T3500. I got 2 of them for $50 for both, $25 each. And one of those I'm using right now. This is what I'm using it on. So I have installed VirtualBox and Burp Manager on these machines. And up until the last couple months, if I set one up, you'll see here where it's EFI is enabled. EFI is enabled. Yep. All of them are EFI enabled. And it would go through the installation. This is in the past. It would go through the installation, and then when it came time to reboot, it would come up and say, your system does not support UEFI mode. So I would have to just redo it all, but do it in BIOS. So something's happened, and there's been some improvements because I don't have that error anymore. I set it up intentionally just to find out. And so that works. That's awesome. If we go back to my menu, I wish I knew how to do that, navigate this here a little better. K3B, BLC, Brasero, Allright, K-Patience, the VirtualBox, Simple Screen Recorder, MPV Player, I had to install that, Qubit Torrent, Chromium Web Browser, I had to install that, HTOP, let's bring that up right now. 1.6 gigabytes of RAM, which is not terribly high considering that I have been browsing the internet and OBS Studio is not only on, but it's recording. So, I mean, that's not unusually high right there. That's actually pretty good in my experience. Now, if I was on idle and I wasn't doing anything, it's still going to be up above 1 gigabyte of RAM being used. It's just in nature of this beast. I guess I could switch to a different work. There we go. Now we don't see that every time, but I think that just about going to cover the video here. It comes with some certain programs, videos, document scanner, help, clocks, rhythm box, tour. I installed UVC view. It comes with this. This came with K3B, I think. I'm not sure where this came in because I don't believe this was part of the default system. It may have been, but I wouldn't swear to it. All right, let's go back over here. Minimize that. Whoops. Go back over here and minimize that. Get that out of the way. I use Fedora, and I use it just about on a daily basis in my other workstation. And there's only a few things that they're doing in their direction that could make me sway. How about that? Could make me deter from using Fedora Linux. And from what I've seen and heard and gossip that I've listened to, I don't know what direction they're going to go in. All I know is my systems work, and that's what's important to me. Now, if I find out later on they're spying on me that I don't know about it, or for some other reason, then it'll just be gone. I'm sure I'll miss it because I've gotten used to the DNF. And by the way, there is a new DNF package manager. So I think that's going to do it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Peace out. Give Fedora a try. And if GNOME is not your thing, they have other spins. I think I counted like 18 different spins in window managers. That's a lot. So, I mean, it should be available for you, whatever it is you desire. So thank you very much for watching. Peace out, guys. I'll catch you on another video. Bye.